That day, Hancock, as usual, was lying stretched out asleep on a park bench when a boy pointed toward a nearby library and told him he should go deal with some criminals. Annoyed at having his nap disturbed, he replied irritably, "If you want to keep your teeth to eat cookies, get lost." Without any urgency, he casually wiped his nose, then picked up the half-empty bottle of whiskey left over from the night before and downed it in one go before shooting up into the air and speeding toward the target. He looked no different from a drunk person still trying to drive, chasing the suspect while continuing to drink, and as a result, he crashed into a traffic sign, causing a series of police cars below to be damaged, leading to losses even greater than confronting the criminal itself. He tore off the roof of the suspect's car and climbed inside, intending to persuade him to turn back, but was met with a barrage of gunfire. Even so, he remained completely unharmed, only the bottle in his hand shattered. Irritated, Hancock immediately used his foot to stop the car, lifted it thousands of meters into the air, and hurled it toward a nearby building, where it ultimately got stuck on a lightning rod on the roof. Although he helped the police subdue the suspect, he simultaneously caused millions in damages, making both law enforcement and the public dislike him, while the media continuously criticized him. Fortunately, Hancock was not affected by those words. He still kept a good heart and continued contributing to society. That was until a man appeared, someone who would change his misguided path. That day, the man's car was stuck on a railway track, while a train was rushing toward it. At the critical moment, Hancock appeared just in time, lifted the car, and threw it aside. Then he used his own head to stop the train, denting the front of the locomotive, before calmly stepping out and glancing back as several train cars had derailed and were severely damaged. Despite the surrounding complaints, he remained indifferent. Only Ray stepped forward to thank him for saving his life. To show his gratitude, Ray invited him over for dinner. With Hancock's help, Ray and his car made it home safely. However, what was strange was that when Ray's wife saw the man who had saved her husband, she appeared uneasy, not only watching him closely, but scrutinizing his every move, as if she had known him before. After the meal, Ray suddenly came up with an idea to repay him. He handed Hancock a business card, introducing himself as an image consultant. He wanted to help improve Hancock's public image, but Hancock immediately refused because he was used to his free, spirited lifestyle and didn't want to be tied down. Although he acted like he didn't care, deep down he felt a slight stir, because since losing his memory, this was the first time he had felt genuine concern from someone else. During all that time, no one knew anything about his past, and no family ever came to claim him. He lived quietly on his own like that. Although he carried a sense of justice, he often unintentionally caused trouble for others, even creating more problems. Not wanting to continue living that way, he finally took out the business card and decided to let Ray help him change. However, the first requirement Ray made was that Hancock had to turn himself in to the authorities, because his actions over the years had spread widely across social media. After putting out a fire, he casually took ice cream from some kids when rescuing a stranded whale. He accidentally damaged a sailboat. His heroic acts were everywhere online, but despite good intentions, they still brought considerable losses. In the public's eyes, he was even more alarming than criminals. But Ray insisted that didn't matter. As long as he followed his guidance, Hancock would gradually rebuild his image. The first step to improving that image was, of course, changing his appearance, but Hancock clearly resisted. To truly change, he eventually agreed to publicly apologize according to Ray's plan. The press conference was packed. He held a card and read the prepared statement. Despite facing heavy criticism, he tried to remain calm. Right after that, he quickly took commemorative photos as requested, completed the procedures, and was officially sent to a prison in California. Despite possessing extraordinary abilities, he still had to serve his sentence like anyone else. As soon as he entered, a large man blocked his path. Hancock didn't want trouble, but trouble came looking for him. Looking around, he realized that most of the people there had once been arrested by him. Despite repeatedly trying to avoid conflict, the inmates were determined to provoke him. With no other choice, he was forced to deal lightly with the two ringleaders, but unexpectedly, that action resulted in his sentence being extended by several more years. At this point, Hancock truly lost his patience. He used his fingernail to crack the glass and tapped lightly, showing his frustration at no longer wanting to follow Ray's plan. He hung up and walked straight to the door. With just a bit of force, he easily tore apart the bulletproof glass. The idea of staying here for many years was unacceptable to him. Right then, Ray called him out as lacking courage, saying that if he were truly a hero, he had to learn restraint and accept the consequences, because the city could not do without him. Those words seemed to strike a chord with Hancock, making him decide to stay. With no friends by his side, he could only attend daily alcohol rehabilitation meetings, while gradually learning how to get along with those around him. His changes were recognized and praised by others. Meanwhile, crime in the city began to decline, and Ray frequently visited, offering sincere advice. Until one day, the prison warden appeared at his cell. Law enforcement needed his help and had to release him early to handle the situation. Looking into the mirror, Hancock resolved to completely change. He lathered up and shaved neatly, then put on the outfit Ray had specially prepared. This time he was entirely different. He caused no damage to any structures, landed carefully and precisely, and left everyone present astonished. At that moment, the police chief quickly briefed him. The suspects were heavily armed and highly professional. They had not only taken hostages but also attached explosive devices to each person, leaving the authorities on site with almost no viable options and forcing them to place their trust in Hancock. After assessing the scene, he headed straight toward the bank. In contrast to the surrounding tension, a rocket flew toward him, but he simply raised his hand to stop it, letting it explode right beside him without flinching. After a quick exchange with an injured female officer, he carried her while lifting a car as a shield to advance. Even as the vehicle was destroyed under heavy gunfire, he pushed through the pressure and brought the officer out safely. Inside the building, the robbers had no idea this was only the beginning of Hancock's counterattack. As they were preparing, he suddenly broke in and removed one of them from position. In the lobby, only one man remained, and Hancock immediately appeared behind him. The robber threatened that if his demands were not met, he would detonate all the explosives in the building. But contrary to expectations, Hancock remained completely calm, casually taking a lampshade and flattening it into a metal sheet, sharpening it as he spoke. He coldly asked the man to repeat himself, leaving the forces outside confused about what was happening. Shortly after, Hancock walked out of the building, holding the detonator along with evidence from the robber. Right behind him were hundreds of hostages brought out safely, and everyone present erupted into loud applause. In that moment, Hancock truly became a hero in the eyes of the public, receiving recognition and respect for the first time. That evening, Ray and his wife held a party to celebrate him. Hancock shared his past, saying that about 80 years ago, he had been severely injured and lost all his memories, and when he woke up, he already possessed his current abilities. Hearing that story, Mary's face briefly showed emotion. He wondered how bad he must have been for no one to come looking for him. Hearing that, Mary suddenly broke into tears and couldn't hold back from apologizing to him. That night, Ray drank himself drunk out of joy. Hancock intended to say goodbye to Mary and leave, but during their conversation, she noticed the scar on his hand. Their eyes met, and the atmosphere turned unusual. When Hancock stepped closer, Mary did not avoid him, but just before the moment became intimate, she warned that if Ray found out, the consequences would be serious, then quickly changed the subject. Not long after, Hancock returned, outwardly to talk with Ray, but in truth to confirm his suspicions about Mary. He suddenly tested her reaction with a direct action, but the results showed that Mary was completely unaffected. At that point, Hancock realized they were not ordinary people. He continued testing a few more times, but the result remained the same. In Ray's presence, Mary had to stay calm, but as the situation grew tense, she decided to arrange to meet Hancock somewhere private to explain everything. At Hancock's home, the truth hidden for decades gradually came to light. When he asked whether they shared the same nature, Mary confirmed that they belonged to the same kind, a group once known by many names such as gods or angels, and today as superheroes. When Hancock asked how many like them remained, Mary said that there had once been many, but over time they gradually disappeared, and now only the two of them were left. When asked about the relationship between them, Mary appeared flustered and gave an unconvincing answer. Her unusual behavior made Hancock realize she was hiding something, and he decided to find Ray to get clarity. However, the conversation quickly turned into a confrontation. After stopping, Mary quickly blended into the crowd. From the way she spoke, Hancock began to suspect that they had once shared a past spanning thousands of years. As the argument escalated, Mary could no longer remain calm. She displayed overwhelming power, not only physically but also the ability to affect the surrounding environment. The sky immediately changed, strong winds rose, forming large and dangerous vortices. Amid the chaos, the two continued their intense fight from the air down to the ground until they crashed into a large wall, where Hancock temporarily restrained Mary. However, the entire incident was witnessed by Ray from upstairs. He could not believe that his wife was confronting his close friend in such a way. Realizing she could no longer hide the truth, Mary was forced to reveal everything to Ray. She admitted that she also possessed extraordinary abilities and belonged to the same kind as Hancock. Indeed, Hancock was the one who had been bound to her for a very long time. This truth left Ray completely stunned. It turned out that thousands of years ago, there had been many like them in the world, but after an event 80 years earlier, only 2 survivors remained. At that time, Hancock had been severely injured and lost his memory, while Mary was forced to leave him. Later, she chose to marry Ray and live a normal life. No matter how long they had been apart, they were always drawn back to each other. After saying this, Mary turned and walked away, leaving the two men standing there in silence. That evening, with a heavy heart, Hancock walked into a store intending to buy alcohol to ease his mind. As he was about to pay, he realized the shop owner was subtly signaling for help. Even though he did not want to get involved, he still bent down and dragged out a man hiding behind the counter. But when he tried to deal with the second person, an unexpected situation occurred. He was shot twice in the abdomen. The shop owner was stunned, and Hancock himself was confused. The intense pain caused him to lose consciousness on the spot. At the hospital, the situation became chaotic. What disturbed him most was that his body, once nearly impossible to harm, could now be affected like that of an ordinary person. These sudden changes left Hancock anxious. When he regained consciousness, Mary was by his side. She explained that when the two of them were close to each other, their powers would gradually weaken, making them become normal. She remembered every scar on his body, because she had witnessed it all many years ago. Back then, to save Hancock, she had been forced to leave him so his healing ability could be activated. That was also why he lost his memory and forgot the person who had been with him for thousands of years. Since then, Mary chose to stay away so that he could live better. At that moment, a group of criminals suddenly stormed into the hospital. Realizing the danger, Mary immediately stood in front of Hancock to shield him. But because they had been near each other for too long, her powers had also weakened. Seeing Mary severely injured, Hancock was overwhelmed with pain. His emotions surged, causing him to lose control. He immediately got up and fought back, pushing the attackers out of the area. However, there were still others who continued to attack him. In the chaos, Mary tried to leave but was held back. When Hancock let his guard down, a blow from behind knocked him to the ground, and both of them could clearly feel their weakening. As their powers faded, every injury he suffered directly affected Mary, and her condition quickly became critical. When one of the attackers was about to deliver the final blow, Ray appeared just in time and stopped it. But by then, the situation had become extremely serious, with both Hancock and Mary in critical condition. In what seemed like a hopeless moment, Hancock's willpower helped him rise again. He understood that he could not stop yet, because Mary still needed him. Enduring the pain, he rushed outside, creating distance between them. As the distance increased, Mary's condition began to improve. Hancock used all his strength to get as far away as possible, and immediately, Mary's vital signs gradually stabilized. A month later, Mary had recovered and reconciled with Ray. As for Hancock and Mary, perhaps staying apart was the best choice. At that moment, Ray received a call from Hancock, who told him to look up at the moon. There, a heart shape appeared, a sincere gift Hancock had left behind. And now, wearing the outfit prepared by Ray, he had found his path, continuing to quietly protect the world in his own way.